Is it like speed dating or speed networking, but online?
Yeah. So Elizabeth, yes, that's exactly what it is. That is one of my favorite lines that have used throughout my presentations to different classrooms. Is it's like speed dating for a job, basically. Okay, so the first thing is make sure your connection works and make sure your webcam works and your microphone work and test them before the event. So, of course, tonight, I logged in and I'm going, can you hear me? Can you hear me? My microphone didn't work. Best part about that is that Lori and I tested it right before I logged in. It worked fine. It never fails. Try to make sure that they work because for this event, there is the possibility you'll be invited to a video chat, and you want to make sure that your webcam and your microphone are working for that purpose. If you're not invited to any video chat, everything will be happening pretty much using typing and text. So if you don't have a video or a webcam or a microphone and you're interested in still having those video chats, check out one of your local libraries or a computer lab at a school nearby you if you have access to it. I would avoid using a professional or work computer just because that's a little bit, you're searching for a different job. So I have on here called the Career and Professional Development Office. If you were in Platteville, they would have availability to have a computer available to you. One thing, though, if you do use a computer lab or a computer somewhere else, just make sure to check the background. If somebody's sitting right behind you, maybe try to angle yourself a little different. Chatting. So most of this communication that you're going to do in the online room is going to take place using chat features, so typing, similar to texting, similar to the discussion boards in your classrooms, so you're typing everything out. So be sure to use proper grammar and mechanics and spelling. Most web browsers now have a spell check feature where it's like Microsoft Word where it gives you the squiggly lines. If that happens, see what's wrong with the word. And the rationale and reason for this is that these employers will be able to download the entire chat transcript. So you don't want a random spelling error that they're going to download and see afterwards when they're making some decisions. Also, be polite. I've read somewhere that you should use Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so. You'll be able to see the name of the recruiter for that company. So just use your proper manners, be polite. Think of this as an interview. I've really been stressing that this is often considered like a phone interview. You may get some one-on-one time, so this is a great time to try to impress them. Some don't. Avoid your spelling errors. Don't put spelling errors in. Avoid text talk. Text talk is becoming just more common in emails everywhere. I see it even at UW-Platteville between colleagues now. We use BTW instead of by the way, or FYI instead of for your information. Avoid that because it just is not professional in the setting. There are times, though, when you may abbreviate, and that goes into that slang and industry jargon and acronyms. If it's industry specific, if the slang or jargon or acronym is industry specific, it is okay to use. If it is not industry specific, avoid it at all costs. So my favorite example is in computer science students. They learn a program called C++. For somebody that's in a programming or IT type of field, C++ is a very common thing. If you say that to someone outside of the computer science industry, they may not understand what you're saying. They may think you got a C+ in a class, when in actually you're talking about a class called C++. So just try to avoid those jargon and slang unless you know for sure the industry that you're talking with. And then that also goes with emojis. Emojis, some people are saying use them now because it can show your sense of humor in that, but it's better to avoid sarcasm or any sense of humor in a text chat room type of feature because it can be taken the wrong way. So just avoid using emojis at the same time with that. Grammarly is great. It's a pretty good free app. It installs to Google Chrome, I know. I believe it also has like an Internet Explorer. And if you're not using Grammarly, it's pretty good. I've used it. I teach communication courses. I love the email that it sends me weekly where it tells me how often I've used it and how many mistakes I make. So it's a great way to, if you're not comfortable with grammar, spelling, mechanics, it's a great way to really practice and get stronger. So, a couple tips with chatting. As I said, the main chat room, review all the questions in that chat room before you ask your question. Make sure your question hasn't already been asked and answered. You don't want them to have to repeat the same thing, especially because you'll be able to see the history of that chat room. However, if your question's already been asked, try to come up with another question or try to engage with that company representative somehow. The reason and rationale for this is last year when we did this event, employers stated that they had people who were lurking in the rooms and they felt weird. So don't be a lurker. Ask a question, engage with the company representative. As soon as you log into that chat room, they're going to get a notification that Jane Doe has entered the chat room. They'll probably reach out to you right away. Say hi. Ask them a question or say, I'm reading through the previous chats. I'll let you know if I have a question. And if there's anything personal you want to ask, try to ask for a private chat room instead of doing it in the main chat room, because the main chat room is where everybody will be able to see everything.